so great about an Australian education? We have here today Stephanie Young, who is a graduate from the Monash University in Melbourne, where she studied psychology and marketing. Now she runs her own company, Accent Wellness Pharmaceutical, where she actually specializes in a very unique industry relating to compounding pharmaceutical products.
Therefore, you can see that how Australian education has contributed towards her career pathway as a clinical person. And at the same time, you could also see that how Australian education has educated the graduates to start their own business and to be an entrepreneur.
My name is Stephanie Yang. I run a compounding pharmacy in Malaysia and I'm a Monash grad. I actually first enrolled myself at the Sunway campus here in Malaysia. Back then I wanted to be an architect, but I didn't really know which school was good for architecture and things like that. But at the same time also I wanted to help people, so I wanted to do more medical, more psychology kind of thing. And in Malaysia I didn't have that many options. So I just found myself walking into the international office one day and then I was just flipping through what was available in Melbourne, and I found out that they had a degree in psychology. So that's when I actually just dived in and enrolled for it. I mean, I worked very hard so that I would get exemptions to get transferred over there. Life in Monash during my first year, because I was new, I didn't have any friends, and the people around me made it so much easier to make friends with, and the professors also made studying a lot more enlightening, a lot more insightful. Most of my course mates were actually Australians. We just got along really well, and that also made a lot of things easier as a student and as someone, just trying to make new friends in Melbourne and get along well with everyone. After Monash, I stayed on for about another 4 or 5 more years. So I was in Australia for a total, on and off, for about a total of 11, 12 years. In that time, I tried to further myself to take up courses on counselling autistic children. In the time that I was working as a counsellor in Australia, I also came across a compounding pharmacy, because we often had to send scripts to the compounding pharmacy for custom-made medication, because autistic kids, they can't take a lot of things that are commercially available. I didn't really think much what a compounding pharmacy was, but as it just grew onto me over the years, hey, this is actually something really interesting and very new. And then I did a bit of research and realized that we don't have something like that in Malaysia. I made the decision to a huge gamble, to actually come back here and start researching about compounding pharmacy and how it can help improve our healthcare system in Malaysia. If it wasn't for me being in Australia and also having that sort of exposure to compounding pharmacies and treating children with developmental disorders, I wouldn't have came across compounding pharmacy and wouldn't have been able to actually start it myself here. So most of my groundwork, my research was actually based in Australia before I came back, and also involved frequent trips back and forth to Australia just to get the basic knowledge and what it actually constitutes to run a compounding pharmacy, and how compounding can be done, how compounding can help the community and things like that. My experience staying in Australia for so many years has actually built me to be the independent person I am today. As a postgraduate, I can help the alumni office by sharing my knowledge and expertise, what I've learned as a psych student and what I'm doing here now, to actually empower more young minds to think outside of the box, to be creative and to ultimately fulfill their potential.